yeah, the Entelechy of the place. It would definitely involve restoring some of the ecosystem and to bring diversity back to the forest, and ultimately also finding a way of introducing human settlement and accommodating however many people end up residing here,
Right.
30
Right.
at some point,
Right.
up to 30, maybe even more.
Uh-huh.
And doing that in such a way that is a living symbiosis with the terrain and the ecology. And
Need to learn to
exemplify an example of how to integrate modern day human settlements into the natural world in a way that acts in accordance to and with certain natural principles that pay attention to what is currently here already and alive, what's growing and how things are growing, and how in our effort to meet our own needs can we not subtract from what is here but even improve upon it, and how we can, while creating spaces for ourselves to live, introduce other spaces for other creatures and beings to also have a home which invites back diversity to a land that in many ways has begun to lose it. And I feel like if humankind and the broader human societies of this world were all governed by similar values, we'd be living in a paradise with a healthy relationship to the intelligence of this world. That isn't something that can always be known or conjured, but can come through an individual's expression of creativity and joy. And so doing what we can to nurture an environment to be fertile ground for that type of experience. And then if we do a good job, that can be experienced and observed by others, then we also serve an objective of encouraging growth from other humans who are on their own path in life and their own inevitability when it comes to interacting with the world and in a creative way. So yeah, those are some of the efforts and visions and what could be the Entelechy if like we do things well, and hopefully just create a safe and inspiring little sanctuary where people can learn more about themselves and have a good time and go through the cycle of life of youth and adolescence and eventually old age, and feel like they have been taken care of for periods of time along the way. I think that. Yeah.
Can I articulate something?
Sure.
Ask you?
Yeah.
So if you have, because I like what he said about what would be the main purpose if there's people coming to help create this space and support. I really like what you said. It's like if you are asking permission to the land and to the forest to create space for us as a creatures. So you clean, you create, you see, you notice, and you build based on that. So like when people come and they are doing everything that you explicit said, you're like,
Right.
We're cleaning, we're doing. I really like when he asked, I was like, but what I think that is important in community to keep the purpose of why we do what we do, because that's what wakes us up in the morning. I was like, I know I'm moving rocks and I'm not doing this because we are creating the space to live and to experience this, right?
Yeah.
So if I would have to ask you again, if you would have like an elevator pitch to, maybe you don't have it, and it's a statement that is easier to introduce to newer people that are coming here, and that's what people that lives in this community say. What are we doing here? We are doing BB, right?
Yeah.
Would you have that? Sorry.
Well, no, it's great. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's an interesting question because if you were to ask somebody why they make art or why they create
exactly.
music, it can be explained rationally, but then it's also some other inner calling that just compels itself through their actions.
The difference here is that when an artist is creating art on his own, you don't need to explain. But were you including others in your vision, it's only fair for the other human to fully immerse in that, even when sometimes don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Just like the articulation of involving them in that experience or in that, yeah, because it is an experience to live here, I really believe.
I feel like the purpose will connect with certain people, you know, certain people that also feel a love and care for nature, and feel in alignment with wanting to embody what can be the pinnacle, or maybe the entelechy of humanity, which is a part of a broader ecosystem and in service of that ecosystem. And you know, as complex humans, we have the ability to manipulate our environment, and often we cause a lot of damage. But we also have the ability to be abstract and to consider and to perceive like the patterns within nature and patterns within the ecology, so that we can interact with stages of a growth of a tree, and we can bring to health the forest by even causing a little destruction by removing some trees, so that other trees might not have to compete while they grow. Yeah. And so, you know, one of my answers, something I also said to June, is to create beauty, and
create beauty.
Yeah, or to like contribute towards like beauty, and to participate in the act of like creating the beauty here. Obviously, there's beauty everywhere, and all you have to do is find it and look for it. But there is a way of enhancing of it, and by attuning to it, and when one is surrounded by an environment that's beautiful and coherent, then it awakens other aspects of what's innate inside each human being. And so it is a creative process, and the purpose really just comes down to like, what is the purpose of like life?
I wouldn't say purpose. I would say a why. I don't think a why is a purpose.
Okay.
Right? I don't know.
I love that you're asking this, and I want to like dig into your way of seeing things. And the why, to learn and to develop health within ourselves.
Okay, to learn.
Yeah, I think so.
If it's a learning experience, I think so too. Like, I think that coming here is a learning experience, because you have a lot of knowledge, and like everyone has a lot of knowledge in their own aspect, but you especially on this land. And as I don't want to say leader, but it's like, even if like in the leader aspect of it, like as you share your knowledge, you're not only giving directions, you're teaching. So coming here is a school. It's like literally, like if you're like, why are we doing? It's like going to Karate Kid, and like they're doing the same thing. It's like there's a purpose behind what we're doing here that it might come later in time, but it's important to be aware of that.
It's a relational knowledge. It's a relational knowledge in respect to an ecosystem and all the elements and like parts of an ecosystem that, you know, it's relational. It's relational in respect to working with other human beings and doing so in a way that considers the hearts and minds of everybody involved, but asks everybody to elevate themselves so that they step into their own capacity and then enhance their own capabilities, so that they're more effective in realizing their own desires as they move their way through life. But also in building technologies and understanding how to be accountable for even the waste that we produce, and then even in some respects reframing waste. Capturing human manure, for an example, is super satisfying when a year later that human manure has decomposed and it's like this fertile substrate that then goes towards acting as nutrients for a tree or a fruit tree. And so it's almost like what was a waste that you have to kind of move yourself away from becomes a resource that gets recycled and is actually valued within this like broader like web of life. And so all about relational knowledge. And I think that being in this setting with other people, with other visitors, and with other travelers, and with community members, it's an opportunity to like experience a different part of oneself as well, outside the environment of wherever somebody grew up in, whatever culture they were raised in, whatever family dynamics held them hostage to being one role or one identity, a brother, a sister, a son, or a daughter, etc. And get an opportunity to to create themselves as somebody new while they're here and while they're being cared for by some of the other people who live and help hold the space of this community.
That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I would like to know, like, I don't know why it comes to me like this idea of like Entelechy as like it's an experience that you live and you come here. Like for what I see of the land, this land is very sacred for me. I feel that it's really sacred and there's a lot of healing happening, and it's a safe place to heal and to feel and to be. Just it doesn't happen in a lot of places in the world where you can actually be and feel safe at the same time, because you need to be safe to be.
Yeah.
Right? And you're coming, like, I keep thinking of, like, what does the people that come to Entelechy to work will gain? Of, like, what is, like, there's an experience, there's learning, it's like, and I keep going to, like, what is Entelechy? Like, what are the values? Like, what are we gathering? Like, it would be so cool to, like, know as an entity, right? Like, as an entity, what are the, probably you have them, like, what are the values of Entelechy? What will we aim for? And, like, when something happens in the community, you go back to that. It's like, are we living through the values of Entelechy? It's a way of living and experience this land.
Yeah. All those things that you said are really valuable. So like safety, I relate to it as a sanctuary.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the realm of safety, individuals can then retrace back to their own childhood and play out some like playful experiences that might not otherwise be safe or welcome in the world at large. And so a sanctuary space and putting continual effort into like maintaining that realm of genuine safety through acceptance of other people and one another. As you know, referring to that first part of what you said, and the values as like a compass. I always define them as like three, which happen to be very similar to permaculture principles. It's earth care, people care, and fair share.
Okay.
And so these are abstractions. They're philosophical more than they are something that is factual, right? You can conceive of many different ways to that like earth care might look. People might have different strategies to achieving an outcome that considers like the earth, and people might have different strategies to serving people and reaching like a people care point of view, or even what might be fair. And so the three, earth care, people care, and fair share, are more just like philosophical compass that when making decisions we consider these as values. And then the discussion is not necessarily a rivalry or a butting of heads based on different ideologies. It's like, how do we work together in accomplishing an outcome that meets one of these three values or all three?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel that everyone that lives here knows that?
No.
Oh my God.
I know.
Thank God you're recording this.
Yeah.
What's the question?
What are the values of Entelechy?
She also asked if everybody here knows this.
Because I'm like, I have an obsession. I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to take all the information in Brandon's head and put it somewhere where people can reach to it.
I think
That's my...
Did you hear that?
I already know that. I'm like, I've been sitting with it, and I'm like, do I want to do that? I was like, he needs to want to do that.
Exactly.
I feel like that's beautiful, and I think that's something that June was also like showing some like openness and receptivity towards, and I think that's something that is needed. I think the truth is not everybody has shown curiosity, and some people have come here because they've had needs of their own that have just been prioritized in their own life. It's like, I need a place to live. Am I going to choose here? Oh, this is a pretty nice place. Oh, it's a pretty high quality life.
And I have a question for that.
Pardon me?
I have a question.
Yeah.
And you know where that's going.
You can pose it anyways.
Where's the filter? How does a yes to be part of this community happens when it doesn't come from a need perspective of like he's gonna pay rent, or like you're occupying a space even though you don't know anything about Entelechy?
Yeah. Well, you know, there is a little bit of like a practical element is that it does require a lot of resource to support this land, and we don't always have the spaciousness to pick to invite residents exclusively based on their alignment with what this broader communitarian vision might be. Sometimes we allow for people who at least come from a good place within their own heart, and that share some values and are safe people and that are trustworthy, to rent and live here for periods of time. And if they show interest and they involve themselves, then they become more immersed and enmeshed into what we're doing. Sometimes people just don't do that. They're caught up into their own life experience, and they leave having never really understood where they were in the first place. And there's a little bit of a tragedy in that. We're working, of course, to improve upon the methods of bringing the entire ship that is this community in the trajectory that involves people who really are here because they align with the values and because they want to co-create something together. And even this maybe process that we're doing right now is a step towards that. And what you were just sharing is helping to communicate some of these things or ask the right questions. Is a step that hasn't really fully happened yet before maybe this moment. And so I would say also, this community is just like any other creature or human. It's in its adolescence, right?
Oh, the
Yeah, it's an adolescent. It's reaching its teenage years and early adult, but we're not at the stage of full level maturity. That happens in tandem with infrastructure. It happens in tandem with people having been here for long enough to understand how to care for the place collectively, and so it's a growing entity, and just like any other entity, if given the right conditions, the right nutrition, protected from harm, it might reach its entelechy.
And I feel like what you said is very wise. It's in the adolescent period, and something that I learned is that adolescents are still kids.
Yeah.
And we still need to care, and we need to still give the attention, even though they look like adults.
Yeah.
So sometimes this place looks like it's been moving and it's been growing and everything, but when we talk about the human side of it, the focus has been so much on the caring, the learning, the creating, the vision, that the heart of it, and how we build a foundation to build, because the only way to build in a community is to have a clear foundation to spray the voice, and then have it's if you have the responsibility of you create a beautiful space. It's when you create a retreat, right? You create the container, you create the space and everything, and then your only mission is to make sure that that's out in the world and it attracts the right people. Mm-hmm. And it's only, you say 30 people, maybe it's 15. It's not a lot of humans. And if you have the right communication, they will feel drawn to you. Mm-hmm. And the good communication allows that misinterpretation of oh, you can come into Entelechy just to live. Mm-hmm. And just right. To use it as a base camp, which is not. I was
it wouldn't serve its highest purpose for that to be too widely the case.
Yeah.
So when first starting Entelechy, I laid out a plan that I divided into 6 phases.
Yeah.
And the first phase was really sophisticated. It required acquiring the land, setting up financing, raising money, doing all the legal elements, building the house, getting all the permits, getting the occupancy permit, refinancing it, achieving that state of development so that on some level we could house some people. That was the first phase. Yeah. The second phase was then starting to invest in the community and invest into the culture and start to improve some of the other pieces of infrastructure, complete some tasks, get water underground to service the tiny homes or the trailers, and introduce a council, which is a decision-making board that involves more people than just myself, and start to enact some of these other social technologies that can support an intentional community.
Yeah.
We're now in the third phase.
Oh, cool.
Yes, we're in the third phase out of 6.
Okay.
And it's been 7 years. And so this third phase is about completion. It was getting the gardens going. It's about completing all of the little projects that we have already started, finishing the composting toilet, getting the outdoor shower going, finishing this outdoor kitchen. Like, it was pretty good, but it's not quite done yet. Finishing all the pieces of infrastructure, maturing some of the collective decision-making processes, maturing some of the social technologies, and beginning to outreach, beginning to invite more attention to what we're doing. For an example, we're offering an eco-village design course. We don't know if it'll actually come to fruition because it depends on how many people sign up, but it's an effort that we're making towards realizing elements of this third phase. And these also correspond with financing cycles, with when the mortgage comes up renewal, and when we can possibly pull out more resources so that we can then put that back into the land, or when we can then invite other individuals to invest as stakeholders or shareholders or council members, to expand the base of who is going to be here and consider this their home and be a part of creating what's next. And so in the future phases,
Yes.
also involve really building quality infrastructure for long-term occupants. So we have trailers, we have like 5 or 6 trailers, which, but they're not great during the winter. It'd be much nicer to have little earth berm structures with green roofs that are a little hobbity, but nice and well built, that will last hundreds of years.
Can I stop you right there?
Sure, go for it.
I'm sorry.
No,
because
it's okay.
You're really good at going in the vision. You have a vision so clear, and every conversation leads into you. And I can see you seeing like it's so clear. But you said something that it really was okay. You do these projects. You're in phase 3 right now, which is great. What have you done to celebrate that you're in phase 3?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Celebration is probably something that I think I need help with.
Yeah.
Tito's here to help with celebration.
No,
I
and
think,
and I keep coming, and this idea keeps coming to me as you're a really good master plan, always the vision, and you're also but the human side of it, the glue of the whole, what is Entelechy tradition every time that something is accomplished? What do we do as a community? How do we celebrate it? Playing reggaeton and dancing all night? No, I'm just kidding about it.
we have some parties.
I'm asking more you build community as you build traditions. You
Right.
build community as you acknowledge the growth, and when you the little the tree. I had to go 3 days later. I saw there was a tree. You're there's a new tree here. Wasn't informed. Felt so betrayed. I was why? This is not on the text. I don't know.
You're right.
No, I'm
True. It's true. I think
and it's because you are in the vision mode, and it's great. And I think that what you said about this little board of other humans being part and supporting you to be in the vision, but also as it grows in phase 3, there must be another people that are gonna.
Yeah.
So your mind can keep being on that vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It could be considered an affliction to be so focused on the creative elements and maybe not always basking in what has been accomplished. But the part of the community, which is the inclusion of others and the making space for their inspiration, just like what you're sharing right now, is medicine for me.
Yeah, what it does, what I really think it does, or what I feel it does is as you share everything that has been accomplished, you start looking at this with different eyes, not with what's missing. Because when I come here and I talk to you, you're and we're doing this and we're doing this, and I look at it, there's so much that has been done already that can be celebrated.
Right.
And I don't know, like things that come to me is like as we start this new chapter, honoring what has been done, like starting this new, this new phase with the appreciation of what has been done, honoring all the versions that have worked so hard to be where we are, and understanding that we're not behind anything.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. You're right. June was also, I think, like echoing like a similar spirit, which
Yeah.
I hear, and I do my best to let in,
And it's not like we're just talking here. There's not something that like, I'm telling to
I know.
you, no, right? It's like it's just it comes to me and in need of like, okay, this conversation is happening. It's a good opportunity just like to put it out there and say like, yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
And it's funny because I like held back for years and years actually having an opening. So I'm like, oh, we're not actually quite ready yet. We need this and this and this. But we've had like parties here for like people's birthdays and stuff, but we haven't had an actual celebration purely in respect to the merits of what has already been accomplished and achieved.
how would that feel for you?
Yeah.
If we make that happen for you without you having to do anything.
Oh, scary, to be honest. That's what I was like, oh, how does that feel? Like, I feel a sharp tinge of emotion. Like, what's that mean? Yeah, they could be sweet.
I'm in charge of that committee, by the way.
I know, you're already on it. I feel it.
Careful.
Right?
Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I think so. I think maybe we can plan.
You don't have to.
No.
Don't plan anymore. You have planned so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you release control?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
I would like to.
I would like to. I would love to.
All right, I'll practice this. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
Cool. Thank you.
So from what I heard, I think you want to make this place like the new Shire or something like that.
Oh.
Right? You're gonna transform this place into like a Shire.
What's the Shire?
Yeah,
Sorry?
I'd like to hear more about like what you imagine when you say Shire, because
Like just like and it's from Lord of the Rings.
Should I check? Should I?
Oh,
I'm kidding.
yeah, you can.
do that.
You can.
Yeah.
I like the.
This is fun.
So it's from Lord of the Rings. It's actually like a sanctuary for people. Like there's all this wars and stuff, but before they go on a war, they show this place where it's so peaceful and like there's like a festival and there's abundance of food and like everyone's happy and little hobbits are like loving each other and and it's beautiful, right? It's like a place like that.
Yeah, something to be protected.
Yeah, something that is so sacred that you want to like. It's like your body. You want to take care of it.
Yeah. Then something just like that.
Right. But sometimes like overprotection ruins something too.
Oh.
Do you think about that?
Well, I think that happens a lot
Yeah.
in like family situations when there's an overprotective parent, and I think like when like a tendency of controlling the outcome too rigidly can have that same effect. I think when I used the word protection, what I was hearing was your analogy of the Lord of the Rings, and in advance of like people going to war, they're shown something that is like worth protecting, a reason for going over and defending this situation.
Okay.
That kind of like, where it's like what's to be cherished, the heart, the family, the children, like that sort of home place. And why are we going over and risking so much? So that's how I use that word in respect to what I was hearing from you.
Yeah.
But I think it is still relevant to be conscious about how tightly we hold on and like what we try and control or prevent from like growing naturally in some cases. It's a balance, right?
Yeah.
It's a balance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually like what I wanted to hear from you, because like a lot of people don't consider that. Like a lot of owners don't consider that. Yeah.
We're doing something pretty different than most traditional ownership structures.
Yeah.
And
How?
well, this place was purchased with the intention to make it so that the ownership can be held by more than one person. I registered and designed a legal entity, a corporate structure that allows for there to be many people that all have a share of legal, tangible ownership that is reflected in the worldview of today's society. And so it's about like kind of, you know, a crude analogy, but putting one's money where their mouth is. And in that sense, it's like, how do we bring a set of values that might be more commonplace in an indigenous worldview of, you know, we don't own land, or maybe that we're all responsible for the land, we're all still stewards of the land, but we share it in a way. But then in the modern day reality where there's this fiscal responsibility of having to pay taxes and set up insurance and do all of the other administrative tasks required in order to actually protect this from being confiscated by the authorities, whoever that may be, or losing it to the bank, etc. And so how do we kind of merge those two worlds? The values, the ideals, the philosophy, the indigenous worldview with the modern day society of this first world nation, being Canada in the 21st century. And so the strategy I did, or attempted, or am figuring out, or experimenting with, has been to leverage some of the systems that support our capitalist society, but repurposed for value-based objectives, by sharing ownership. For people who are genuinely ready and willing to take on a measure of accountability and responsibility. It's not something we just give away, but if somebody comes with, you know, the right place in their heart, and they're able to like consider the welfare and the hearts and minds of others and hold the perspective of the whole, or maybe they just like, you know, by their very nature are like, you know, part of nature and a pleasure to, you know, be around, to make it so that they don't have to face housing insecurity necessarily, or they don't have to work their entire life to earn however many hundreds of thousands of dollars and however many years of T4s and notice of assessments in order to get a mortgage for, you know, what would otherwise be a multi-million-dollar property, and then therefore be a slave to having to pay for it their entire lives, and in essence then losing the spirit of what might otherwise be available if not having to be servant or servant in servitude to those responsibility, the full weight and magnitude of those responsibilities. So I may have just gone off on another long diatribe, but
No, it's fair. It's part of it. I think that like we can dive into like the consciousness, the nature, the community, and the legal size is also like very important. I would like what it sounds like is like if it's like you want to give other people the possibility or opportunity to own or to have, and like what I feel is like being part of this is a privilege.
I hope people see it that way.
No, like it is.
Yeah.
It is. Like I truly, well, for what I see, it's like it is a privilege to be considered to like be part of a project like this. But it's how you present it, how people are gonna perceive it. It's part of the communication skill that you're like, yeah, because we don't want to see housing problems. Like, no, it's not. It's like because it's a privilege to take care of, be part of this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it's a shift of perception.
Yeah.
Of your own perception of the opportunity you're giving others. I think
That's nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that way for myself. It's a privilege to be in like a position where I can, what I consider play by like being creative with the forest and taking care of this and like, yeah, just being creative. That definitely feels like a privilege for me. It feels good for me when other people also like feel grateful for that. I don't think it's easy for everybody to necessarily see and then just like perceive what the opportunity is.
But if I don't see,
Right.
This is not the right place.
I think that's exactly it.
And it's so easy. And if we move through this experience, through feeling sensations, energy, vibration, like frequency, whatever, it's easy to the perception. Like if they step into here and they don't see the majesty that this is, it's okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
But and it's also okay for the person that leads to say, no matter how much I might need the money, or no matter how much helpful that energy instead of money is, it's a no.
Yeah.
Because the land needs someone that see the beauty in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I vibe with that.
Yeah, me too. I love it. That's very cool. All right.
All right.
Thank you for the conversation.
I appreciate that.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So yeah, I love that the final answer is so complicated. Like the answer isn't so simple. It's like after hearing it, I'm just like, okay, so what's the conclusion? But I like that it's like that, because
Well, maybe we get to articulate it a little more. Maybe like at the end of this week, we'll get like a clear, because it's important to see like if you're gonna put a message out and you have a purpose and you have things, like it needs to be. This is how I see it. I see it like in all ways. I don't know why I feel I should be born some like 100 years ago. Like it needs to be a mouse to mouse. It needs to be remember in an easy way that people can relate and they can say it. It's like it shouldn't be that complicated.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
That's the sensation that I'm getting. I'm getting
Yeah.
that we're articulating it, but I want to be able to say like proudly where I'm like, it's like, oh, you're Entelechy. Like, yeah, I up there and like, oh yeah, like that's all I got.
You know, like the thing I liked about like Rainbow Gathering, not that this place has to be like that at all, but like the thing I liked about it is that their value was like nobody should be obligated to do something they don't want to do, and everyone would just voluntarily do things they would want to do, and it'd create a whole, everything, like musicians, cooks, like people who do plays, like different kind of arts, people who do nothing as well, like free riders, but like it just creates like a sense of like, I don't know, like ease in everyone when that happens. So like that's like a simple idea that Rainbow Gathering has, which creates a whole, it's like a seed of idea that creates a whole system. So I'm not saying Entelechy has to be that, but like to discover what that seed is would be great. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That comes with a lot of responsibility and trust. Like if I would have a seed like that,
Yeah.
I would be personally very picky in the person that I would let in.
Yeah, and Rainbow Gathering is honestly not a complete community. It's not a complete, it's only like a temporary community.
Yeah.
So no one has able to, I've never seen a community yet where it's like that and it's like permanent. Yeah.
Because it must be really hard to
Yeah.
build.
Yeah,
not easy.
it's only a 1 month temporary. It's only possible because it's 1 month. Yeah.
It's a celebration and it's a festival, but it's built on some really beautiful principles.
Yeah.
And somewhat simple principles.
Yeah.
Everyone's welcome. They limit technology, and so it's a way of getting back to the earth and back to connection with one another.
Yeah.
And food is shared between everybody. It's fair. It's like a gift economy.
Yeah.
But
That takes a lot of like responsibility again, like a lot of.
yeah. I mean, I've been to my share of Rainbow Gatherings.
I'm like, oh yeah.
And I've had, things can go pretty wrong.
Of course,
too.
dude.
So like, I won't go into the stories, but like I've witnessed.
Right. It's not all beautiful.
It's certainly not all beautiful.
Yeah.
I've seen people get very, very sick and
Yeah.
almost die. I've seen floods take all of people's possessions. I've seen people take certain advantage, and I've seen the whole thing get shut down by paramilitary forces and helicopters and police, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
But not to subtract from the suggestion to kind of like whittle down to the core essence of
That's pretty cool. Thank you guys
yeah. Thank you too.
for your time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you feel complete, June, or do you have any other things that are kind of alive or I wanna just...
Yeah, I feel like I just felt that conversation could be very important. So if this Entelechy could have a YouTube channel, and we could have like a regular podcast, and have like the people living here be on it. Yeah.
I'm actually like, yeah.
Cool.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be interviewing.
And have that would be.
Yeah, no, I like. We've been talking this morning. I was thinking it's like it would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be like an outlet for Entelechy, it'll be a way where there's also like, hands-on labor, but also like intellectualization
Yeah.
of it.
Well, everybody's going to bring a very unique and distinct
Yeah, I guess so.
perspective and
Yeah,
energy.
yeah,
Really cool.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Thank you very much. I'll
Great.
end it here.
appreciate that.